The following is an EHC media production.
Bullet Club for life.
What's going on, everybody? This is Moses Marquez, and I'm coming at you with a new episode of the Major League Show. Just going to put together a quick, I guess, beginner's guide? No, not beginner. I guess you could say beginner's guide, something like that. I don't know how to put it. When I was on WinXT with Brian Green, he had said, he's very intrigued about what's going on with Wrestle Kingdom 12, the hype around Chris and Kenny really caught his attention. Well, what I'm going to do on this, quick podcast is I want to get everybody up to date with more than what's going on with Chris and Kenny. If you're just getting into the New Japan scene, you're not going to really know what's going on. You're not going to know, the storyline between, the Young Bucks and, Yo and Sho. I just want to get you an insight. That way you can feel completely connected with Wrestle Kingdom 12, because I think it's going to be that big of a thing in this wrestling scene. It's going to gravitate a bigger fan base, and I kind of want to give you that, a little cheat advantage. That's what I should call it, not a beginner's guide. It's kind of like a cheat sheet to those who are new-ish to the New Japan scene. So, quickly going to go over the card. They have the New Japan Rumble. The New Japan Rumble is, I want to say, it's a 20-man Rumble. And it's all basically for fun. It's legit. It's meant just like the Royal Rumble is random. Rather than, the winner gets a title shot. The winner just, you're the winner. You won the New Japan Rumble. But it's mainly meant for the older stars to get everybody out there. Get a couple young boys in there, and then, some big returns. I think I've mentioned in the past guys like Scott Norton, Billy Gunn, Jushin Thunder Liger. I want to say Kevin Nash at one year, I think. Don't quote me on the Kevin Nash one. So, but those are all there. So we have the Junior Heavyweight Tag Championship title match. It's going to be Roppongi 3K, which is Yo and Sho. And they're represented by Rocky Romero, hence the Roppongi name. If you're familiar with his old tag team, Roppongi Vice, where him and Trent Beretta were a light heavyweight tag team, but Trent Beretta has since gone to be a heavyweight in the singles division. And then, of course, the Young Bucks, Nick and Matt Jackson. I'm sure we're all familiar with the Young Bucks in one sort of way or not. They're basically, this is going to be a really, really good match. You have a really athletic team in Yo and Sho who put on really good matches. And then, of course, you have the Young Bucks who will legit go above and beyond most of the time to put on a great match. I think it's going to be a really good match. It's going to be a great opening. I don't even think it's going to be the opener, but I'm reading this off of Wikipedia, so this is probably going to be a different match card, but I do think this is going to be one of those matches that is going to completely and totally grab your attention and get you really hyped about this junior tag division, because it is definitely something worth watching. And then we're going to have a gauntlet match for the Never Openweight 6-man Tag Team Championship. So we have the new champions who I think were crowned, I want to say 2-3 weeks ago. And that was the Bullet Club, Bad Luck Fale, Tamatonga, Tamaloa. They had beaten the team of, it's like Evil, Sonata, and Desperado. Well, Evil and Sonata had won the tag league, so they're going to be challenging for the tag titles I'll get into that in just a second. So again, it's the Bullet Club taking on the team from Chaos, which is Trent Beretta, Tomohiro Ishii, and then Toriano. Then you got Michael Elgin and War Machine, Hanson and Raymond Rowe. And then taking on Suzuki Gun, which is Taichi, Azuka, Zack Sabre Jr. And then you're going to have Taguchi, Juice Robinson, and Makabe. So really quickly want to go into this. This is basically so they can get as many guys out there as possible to get them a shine. To start on a low point, Michael Elgin's not exactly in like the. I mean, he hasn't really gotten any more heat after this initial scandal had went down, and yeah. So the scandal is he kind of like there was this girl who was sexually harassed by a student of his and his old promotion that he has since sold, to my knowledge. And then at the same time, he kind of confided in her. Well, she had released some text messages, of him basically kind of just being a dick. And anyway, it got bad. He badmouthed some people. He basically let a guy go, free basically for, sexually harassing, one of his students and shit. So, I mean, it was just bad. Anyway, that's, like I said, we're going to start with the bad, but let's get to the good. To those who are more familiar with the WWE product, I hope you know, if you've watched NXT before, Juice Robinson, God, I totally forgot his name in NXT. CJ Parker. I think I said it once before already. Sorry. The magic of audio. Okay, so to get right back to it, Juice Robinson, aka CJ Parker, was formerly in NXT, so he might look familiar to you. If you are completely brand new to the New Japan scene and you have not heard what he's done on this, in here in Japan, he's done very very well for himself. Put on some very good matches and has slowly become one of the better guys in Japan, and he's only getting better with the time. And then to finish it off, a great team on their way, from my knowledge that I've been reading and listening to and all that fun stuff. A great, great, great tag team. More than likely going to go straight to NXT, which I think would be best. Yeah, I think it'd be best. And that's War Machine. Hanson and Raymond Rowe. If you know Hanson is a guy who looks like Killian Dane, maybe a little bit bigger and a way bigger. I think, yeah, a little bit bigger, and he's pretty dang athletic. He's like, it's crazy watching him sometimes. It's like he flies around like he's a dude that's barely 200 pounds, and it's really awesome to see. Like I said, a dude who he floats around like he's 200 pounds. He's easily 300 plus. This is a great tag team. Raymond's more of like a technical big man. He doesn't fly, but Hanson flies, does his thing. So I mean, that's all pretty badass stuff right there. Like I said, but this is for the 6-man. For the never open weight 6-man tag titles. I totally forget what the never open weight means. I apologize. I think that's just their way of like it doesn't matter the weight class. Just get you 3 guys. So, excuse me. Okay, so I don't know if I gave my predictions for the junior heavyweight title match, but I'm going with the Young Bucks. And then I think this is going to be a really good match. The 6-man tags are normally somewhat quick. They're kind of spotty, which that's the point of them. I think Michael Elgin and War Machine are probably going to shine because they're on their way out. I think Taguchi's going to get his spots because he's a long-time vet. Robinson's probably going to get a couple spots in. Makabe is going to get a couple. It's going to be a pretty good match. It's going to be very interesting. That's 5 or 6 teams right here. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams. That's a lot of freaking teams. So I think that's going to be a good one. I think the Bullet Club though is gonna retain. Just my opinion. So then we have the next match, which is going to be Cody taking on Kota Ibushi. Now, Kota Ibushi, if you're familiar with the product at all, his probably one of the best in-ring performers New Japan has. This is he's a really good performer. He spent, I want to say it was 6 or 7 years in a promotion called DDT in Japan, and during that time he actually teamed with Kenny Omega. And I'm sure most of you are familiar with Kenny by now. So yeah, they've put on absolutely incredible matches, and it's definitely worth backtracking to see. So originally the storyline was Cody wanted a big opponent for Wrestle Kingdom 12, and he was going to be the Ring of Honor World Champion. Well, they kind of got smart about it. They didn't. My guess is this is to make sure that Kota Ibushi doesn't lose. Okay, Kota Ibushi is going to win this match. There's nothing. I mean, there's nothing on the line. And I mean, Cody Rhodes can easily take the pin, no problem. They're just going to put on a great match. They're probably going to go like 20 plus minutes. I'm taking Kota Ibushi. So then we have the Killer Elite Squad, Davey Boy Smith Jr., his dad, Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog, if you remember him, and Lance Archer, a guy who made his name in TNA. I don't remember how well of a name he made. Wasn't a huge TNA fan. Taking on, like I said earlier before, it's Evil and Sonata. And like I said, Evil and Sonata won the World Tag League, hence their title match. And I totally think Evil and Sonata are going over, mainly because they had gotten a giant push. They were really red hot at the end of the Tag League tournament. At one point, they were, I want to say, second to the bottom in their bracket, and they was not looking good for them. And then they turned around and eventually won their bracket. Had tiebreakers with a bunch of a bunch of the other teams. I want to say their bracket was the bracket that was everybody was tied in. So, but I mean, I'm not 100% on that one right now. But like I said, it was a great World Tag League. Not to play favoritism, but the juniors always put on a little bit of a better showing. It's more of a athletic showing. A lot of flips, a lot of good stuff. That's I don't know. The junior tag division and the junior division alone in New Japan is very action-packed, for lack of better words. So, to finish off, I think I said it already, I totally think Evil and Sonata are going over, so they will become your new tag team champions. Then we have Minoru Suzuki, the never open weight champion, taking on Hirota Goto. Goto, I want to say, is a former never open weight champion, I want to say multiple times. And then this whole feud started because I guess in a way Suzuki was kind of disrespecting the belt and he wasn't really defending it. So Goto continued to confront him and was like, "Come on, dude, you know what I mean? Like, put your title on the line." It's just like, "You're not worth it. Put your title on the line. You're not worth it." And then show after show after show, they would do this, and they would show up in the press conferences, and eventually tensions brewed, for I guess lack of better words. And at one point, I want to say it was at Power Struggle, Suzuki actually had the belt on the line against Toru Yano, which was funny because normally Yano beats Suzuki. It's rare Suzuki beats Yano. I want to say he's only beat it a couple of times. So that night he was challenged by Goto again. Suzuki turned him down again, stating he was done with Goto. Having first defeated him to win the title in April and again to retain the title in June, he said, "You're not worth it." So I want to say it was December 17th. Suzuki tried to actually cut Goto's hairs with clippers, but he was, thawed away. The plan was thwarted, is what I'm reading right here, which led to shaving a young boy instead. So following that day, Suzuki accepts his challenge for the title match, stating his match would be one-on-one with no seconds, with the loser getting his head shaved. So there you have it, folks. You have a hair versus title match. I don't know if I've seen this. I personally have not seen this in New Japan. From my experience, since I've been watching it, I've never seen a hair versus anything match. I normally see it in Lucha Libre. If you're a fan of Lucha Libre at all, CMLL, AAA, they normally do like hair versus title matches or hair versus mask match, things like that. So then we have probably one of the more intriguing matches. If this main event card, and there's obviously three main events. Well, there's two, but the Intercontinental title match is attention grabbing, to say the least. But I think this junior heavyweight title match is going to might steal the show, and I do mean just might. It's, I want to say, the first of its kind, a fatal four way for the junior heavyweight title, and that's the champion Marty Scurll taking on Hiromu Takahashi, Kushida, and Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay just recently lost to Marty Scurll. I want to say he had only had the belt maybe 7 or 8 days. No, probably a little longer. But it was between one show to the next show, lost the belt. It was tragic because it took forever for Ospreay to get it. It was a great moment for him. But Marty Scurll is, I'm a big fan. I personally think he's on fire right now. So just my opinion. I think this is going to be a crazy good match. You got amazing wrestlers, probably the four best light heavyweights in the division, or junior heavyweights in the division, excuse me. And I think this is going to be just like a fucking crazy match, man. I think it's going to be a fucking crazy match. And I actually see Will Ospreay getting his title back. Actually, no. Cancel that pick right now. Because I just remembered something I heard, and I'm going to go over it as soon as I'm done. I think probably Marty Scurll might retain. I'm going to go with Marty Scurll retains. I think it's going to be a hell of a good match, and Marty Scurll is going to flourish, and they really want to keep building the Bullet Club. That's what I'm going with. Marty Scurll retains his title. The reason why I say that, if I'm not mistaken, I believe I read that Will Ospreay's contract with, I want to say it's either New Japan or Ring of Honor, is coming to an end. So he's going to be working with Evolve. And I want to say it's an American-based promotion. To my knowledge, it's actually partially owned by the WWE. And I don't think that's an indication he's coming to the WWE anytime soon. He's already stated he has a lot of goals he wants to accomplish that before he even considers going over there. The guy is really, really young. I'm older than Will Ospreay. I'm only 28. He's 24, and he's one hell of a wrestler. And so I'm going to go with Marty Scurll retaining. I think I said it about 3 or 4 times again. Big Marty Scurll fan, if you can't tell. So that's going to be one hell of a match. And then, of course, we have Hiroshi Tanahashi, the Intercontinental Champion, taking on Jay White, Sling Blade. Jay White, and this I didn't even know what Jay White was to the New Japan world, because I know him from like a Ring of Honor. And he was relatively popular in Ring of Honor, but he was always like one of those opening show guys, you know what I mean? He just puts on really great matches. And I don't know if he's really ready for a main event push right now. I know his character is crazy over. So apparently what it was is Jay White was a young boy at one time, a young lion. And the young lions are guys that are up and coming. They're still going through the dojo system. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, it's kind of like not a frat house kind of a thing, but it's low man on the totem pole. You're doing the work. You know what I mean? Like, you're cooking food, you're doing laundry, you're doing all that. You're the young boys. You know what I mean? And then when you get your chance to shine, you fucking flourish. Like guys like, I want to say my best example is Okada. Okada at one point was one of those young boys, and now look at him. He's probably the best professional wrestler on the planet right now. Okay, that is coming. I am a gigantic Kenny Omega fan. I've gone back and watched some of his stuff. I'm going off on a tangent here. I've gone back and went there and watched a lot of his stuff. Some of his stuff from DDT, where he has 2 great matches. This is Kenny Omega again. This is my tangent. We're going to go off on real quick, and I'll get right back to the Intercontinental match. But Kenny Omega has 2 world-renowned matches, and I'm not going to say world-renowned like, oh my god, they're so freaking great. I'm saying it because I'm probably over-exaggerating, but they were 2 excellent matches. One of them was against Kota Ibushi in DDT. It was just a one-on-one competition of him and Kota in DDT. Absolutely amazing. And then another one is a very, very strange match where a lot of people give him a lot of guff for. Kenny Omega versus a 9-year-old girl. I kid you not, I found this match on YouTube. He is one of the most technically sound wrestlers I've ever seen. This girl doesn't take a single bump, but he puts on this friggin' show where it looks like this kid is one of the best fucking wrestlers on the planet. This is how good this match was. Like, it was really freaking good. So, and Kota Ibushi actually has a really good match in DDT too against a blow-up doll. A freaking blow-up doll, people. Yeah, that required a laptop smack. And it was a really good match. Give them both a check. Watch them in privacy. People are going to think you're weird. I'm just being honest with you here. But they were two very, very good matches showing off people's pro wrestling abilities. Doesn't require a great opponent a lot of times. It requires you to be an amazing competitor, which most of these guys are. So to finish up with the Intercontinental title match, like I said, Jay White was a young boy, and he's on his redemption, and he's going after Tanahashi, who is the top dog. He is the ace of New Japan. They're John Cena, if you will. And unfortunately, I think Tanahashi is losing this match. I think Jay White becomes your new Intercontinental Champion only because Tanahashi is dealing with, I want to say, a torn bicep or a torn pec. And that is not easy to wrestle through. And he's been wrestling with it for a while. I want to say it's a bicep. And he's been wrestling with it for quite some time. And I think it's time for him to take a little leave of absence. Disappear for a little bit. Come back in a few months. Be great to go. Maybe by then Jay White, is either a bigger name or has lost it to somebody better. So, maybe loses it to Okada. If I didn't already give my pick away for the title match. Or, I don't know. It could be a great opportunity for Jay White. I think he picked up the win strictly off of Tanahashi injury. However, he could legit be brothering it like Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows call it during the Stone Cold podcast. Just brother through it and just, continue to be the great competitor that he is. So let's get to main event number 1 and probably the more attention-grabbing match for the non-domestic market in Japan, so more of the Canadians and possibly even the guys in the UK and definitely here in the US. And that is Kenny Omega taking on Chris Jericho. And the great thing about this is they've changed it just a little bit. If you know, and I'll go over the history really quick as soon as I'm finished telling you this. They have changed it to a no disqualification match. And it has been confirmed that it is for the United States Championship. The IWGP Heavyweight United States Championship. Pardon me. So, the build to this match, and then I will go over the storyline, and then I'll go into the background of it, and go off on a tangent or two. Again, I am a giant Kenny Omega fan, and a big Chris Jericho fan. You're gonna get all of it from me, and let's get it started real quick. So this feud started when Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega has been on basically a tear. He was taking out every competitor coming his way for the U.S. title, and it was he took out Juice Robinson, which was an excellent match. And I want to say his last competitor, it was also a very good match, was Trent Beretta. So Chris Jericho, who originally had a stint in New Japan, I want to say it's Black Liger. Don't quote me on that. But something Liger, for sure. Anyway, Chris Jericho had a stint in New Japan, and then, this opportunity came up, and of course he's back. So basically the feud started. Kenny was celebrating in the ring after a victory with the Young Bucks. Oh, no. I'm sorry, I'm already getting ahead of myself. He was sitting in the ring not sitting in the ring, but he was standing in the ring after his title defense against Trent Beretta. And all of a sudden, in old school WWE fashion, I wouldn't exactly call that old school, but in WWE fashion, he went. Chris Jericho appeared on the Titantron, calling himself the alpha of the business and calling himself the best ever. The best in the world of what he does. Saying that he's beaten everybody, and he's done everything, and you think you call yourself the best, but you're not the best. Blah 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 blah. Very very old school. It was great. The original promo was great, and it only got better as the feud grew. So originally he challenged Chris Jericho, challenged Kenny Omega. He said Wrestle Kingdom 12, January 4th. And of course, heck yeah, dude, Kenny's not going to say no. This is a hell of a match. This is one of those dream matches, one of those fantasy bookings. The feud had grown. I want to say it was Power Struggle. I want to say Power Struggle. Don't quote me on some of these pay-per-views. But it was during a pay-per-view where Kenny had a 6-man tag match against Roppongi 3K. It was Rocky Romero, Yo and Show taking on the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. After that victory that Kenny and the Young Bucks had, as they were leaving, Kenny was the last to leave the ring, and the Titantron hit. Well, the Titantron hit, and again, it was Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho's telling him, do you understand what it means to wrestle against me? Like, do you understand what you're getting yourself into? And, it just hypes up Kenny. This is basically a hype video for Kenny, and it just hypes him. So, he's sitting there, and he's all hyped up, and he does his, big old point to the Titantron, holding his U.S. title. And who comes out? In, again, very old school, very WWE fashion. Kenny Omega cuts to black. He's behind him. Attacks him. Gets color on him. Busts him open for those who don't understand the wrestling lingo. Gets color on him, which is a very rare thing in Japan. And this becomes now a blood feud. Don Callis, one of the English commentators for New Japan World, actually walked into the ring and was telling him, like, what are you doing? You got to save this for the Dome. Chris, what are you doing? This is Don Callis is a friend of Chris Jericho's going on 25 years. As Chris Jericho is leaving the ring, he stops halfway, comes back in, and hits Don Callis, a innocent bystander, and basically just like a promoter and a commentator, hits him with the code breaker, lays him out, walks away, covered in Kenny Omega's blood. The feud culminates, or concludes. I want to say culminates is another good word. I could be completely wrong with that. Concludes, culminates, whichever sounds better, whichever works properly. They were doing a promo. Not a promo, excuse me, a press conference at the Tokyo Dome. And this was right after that show. I want to say it was Power Struggle. And I was actually recording at the time, taking a break because I wasn't feeling too well. So I wanted to, catch my breath, get a drink of water, relax a little bit. I was feeling a little on the ill side. I ended up getting a cold later on. Anyway, that's all beside the point. So I took a break, I went through my Facebook, and there was a live press conference from the Tokyo Dome, New Japan. And I'm watching it, and I guess they had just finished a Kenny Omega promo. I didn't hear any of it, unfortunately. They then introduced Chris, I should say, excuse me. They did introduce Chris. Chris is then sitting, answering all these questions from the reporters. When he gets maybe a question in, and out of the blue, in very, very 1980s, early 70s even, pro wrestling, out comes Kenny Omega. They go to blows at this press conference. It felt real. This felt real. So real. Chris does a fucking table at Kenny Omega. They brawl forever. The pull apart was awesome. It felt real as fuck. Some of the quotes I still remember because they still ring in my head. That's how impactful this whole thing was. Chris jumps on the mic, steals it from the announcer's stand, and tells the people, this is not a match that you're ever going to see again. This is a once-in-a-lifetime match. This is not about 5 stars. This is not about 7 stars. This isn't about how many times you can hit your finishing move. He said, this is a war. This is a battle. This is a plain old fight, I want to say, is what he also said. So he then finished up with, this is Kenny Omega's last match at the Tokyo Dome. This is after, he said, after January 4th, this is Kenny Omega. That will be Kenny Omega's last day in New Japan. So we're going to go back behind the scenes really quick. So I give you the whole thing. It is a very heated rivalry. It's crazy good. So to go behind the scenes really quick so I can give you a proper reasoning for my pick if I'm not already... Actually, I don't think I'm going to be telling you it just by telling you I already have my pick. But we're going to go backstage really quick. Backstage, if you will, this entire thing was put on by Don Callis, who, again, is a friend of Chris Jericho's. And, again, he knows Kenny via, I want to say, both Ring of Honor and, of course, being the English commentator for New Japan. So, of course, you're going to meet the guys. Well, Chris had talked to Don, and Don had brought up, hey, bullshitting around. Would you ever be interested in wrestling Kenny Omega? And Chris's initial thing was he thought he was joking, and he's like, what if Kenny wants to do it? So they took the idea to Kenny, and Kenny liked the idea. And the one thing that Chris Jericho had stated, and I want to say I remember this from a podcast he did with Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez. His whole thing was, like, he wanted this to feel like a legit fight. He wanted to feel like a Conor McGregor, Mayweather thing. Like, this was legit heat between each other. Well, they're both from Winnipeg. I'm the better wrestler. You're a nobody. That's why I'm the alpha of this business, and you're just the omega. That's a great thing that they're playing off of, which I think is kind of cool. So, yeah, I mean, this was a thing that they both really wanted to do, and it was a big push for both of them. Like I said, Don Callis brought up the idea, and then it just kind of blossomed from there. So, here's my pick. And the only reason I'm picking this is because I heard earlier on a podcast a couple of things, and I'll go over them just after this. I'm going to go with Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega, I want to say they're going to put on more than likely the match of the night. And it's going to be a hell of a ride. Now, the reason why I picked Kenny Omega, like I was mentioning earlier, due to the podcast things, like I was saying, was strictly, he had stated earlier in another podcast with Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez that he's not ready to leave to go to WWE. He feels like he has some other things he wants to accomplish and, things like that. I know he wants to have a big match, with Kota Ibushi because, that is a big friend of, longtime friend of his, very good friend. So yeah, I know that he wants to do that, and I know that he wants to continue. He doesn't want to. He stated, "I don't want to leave until I know that they can do great without me." That's why he didn't leave DDT until after 6 years, because he wanted to make sure that that company could flourish without him. Unfortunately, I don't think it. I think it's still in, but I doubt it flourishes. Maybe in Japan it does, but personally out here in the U.S., I have not heard a lot of DDT. It's more Pro Wrestling Noah, and New Japan. So, I'm going with that. However, and I'm going to say this now, and this is just the big what if guy in me, but if Chris so happens to win, I do see Kenny on his way to the WWE. I don't think it'll be as soon as the Rumble. It might be. It might not be. I don't know. But I mean, if for some reason Chris wins, Chris has stated this isn't going to be his only match in New Japan. He's already kind of called out Naito. He's going to do this. Without, because he already said he didn't want to burn the bridge at the WWE. Vince says it's cool. He's cool with it. He wants to go back to the WWE eventually. That is his home, as he calls it. So I mean, it's he wants to have fun in Japan. He wants to do a lot of things, and then go from there. So that's great. I hope Kenny does well. But like I said, if Kenny somehow, some way wins, expect to see like one title match, and then maybe see Kenny head to the WWE. Hopefully, he'll be quote unquote ready by then. I personally don't think so, but you never know. Other names, very quickly, since I'm on this whole talk about guys going to the WWE, I stated earlier, guys like War Machine and stuff like that. Another name who was somewhat of a New Japan star, and unfortunately, he no longer had a contract with them. I want to say he stopped taking bookings in December, something like that, is Ricochet. Also known as Prince Puma. I think I've talked about him many, many times. He is definitely on his way to the WWE. Rumor has it he will be more than likely the one of the surprise entrants in the Royal Rumble. Hopefully. However, I think it'd be best if he goes straight to the main. But I don't know. Hopefully, he'd be better than like guys like Apollo Crews, because Apollo Crews is crazy athletic, but at the same time, Ricochet has a lot of personality on top of um, athleticism and all that fun jazz. So, talking about him, there is rumors flying around that another member of the Bullet Club could be on their way to the WWE as well. And I'm not 100% confirmed on this name, but I will give you a couple that I've heard. And one of them, or the two names I've heard, not one of them, the two names I've heard are Bad Luck Fale, which would be surprising. Not surprising, really. Mainly because, Vince McMahon likes the big guys. He's a big guy. He's really good in the ring. He's relatively solid. He's a bigger guy. Yeah. I mean, he's been in the New Japan system for quite some time. He even, at one point, tagged with Finn Balor. I want to say he was one of the originals to join the Bullet Club. So, yeah, that was that. There's rumors that he's on his way to the WWE. Also, to be rumored is Haku. If any of you remember Haku from early WWF days, one of his kids, Tamatunga, has been rumored to be heading that way. However, I've heard that he's just signed a long-term contract. But I could be wrong. So, I mean, those are just some names that I'm throwing out there that could be on their way to WWE. Hopefully, that's good things to come. Hopefully, they let them shine. That's my only issue. So, I think I've gone plenty far back enough. I think I've gone on my tangent quite enough. And we're going to finish with what is more than likely going to be one of the best professional wrestling matches we might ever see. And yeah, I'm going to go that far. Because Okada and Kenny put on gold. And I think this could work relatively well. So my whole thing is that's what it's going to be. I think this is going to be a very, very good professional wrestling match. And that's Kazuchika Okada taking on Tetsuya Naito. And that's for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Now, Okada has had his reign, I want to say, well over a year now. And for those who do not know, this rivalry actually stints back, I want to say 3 or 4 years. This was a rivalry that went back quite some time. Naito was getting a gigantic push because he was a fantastic wrestler, and he wanted to be the top. He wanted to be the ace of New Japan. But Okada continued to be in his way. They had a match. I want to say he had. I want to say he won the G1 once before, and had went on to take on Okada, and they had a fan vote, and that match was not the main event, which upset Naito. He thought he should be in the main event, kind of like a CM Punk move. He thought he should be in the main event, all that fun jazz. So it turned out to be somewhat negative, unfortunately. But I mean, it pushed Naito. Naito then went on a little stint away from Japan for a little bit. He joined up with guys in CMLL and joined up with the Los Ingobernables. And he then, learned some things out there, mastered his own craft, and he came back his own person. Basically changed up his persona a little bit, became more of a heelish character. Had his own, and then he brought that faction back with him, Los Ingobernables de Japón. I want to say it's correct, from Japan, excuse me. So this is, redemption. Tetsuya Naito is just on a wave of momentum right now. He is so over. He's Kenny Omega put it perfectly in the podcast that I heard him earlier today talk about. Tetsuya Naito has this Stone Cold Steve Austin appeal to the New Japan fans, and I think that's why a lot of people are gravitating to him so well. He's just this outstanding wrestler who is, he's this outstanding wrestler who is, just he's a heel, but you can't help but love the guy, and he's put on absolutely fantastic matches against guys like Michael Elgin and Kenny Omega. They put on fantastic matches with Naito, and he's one hell of a wrestler. Okada, if you've seen any one of the three Kenny versus Okada matches or Omega versus Okada matches, you know how good of a wrestler Kazuchika Okada really is. So again, I think this is going to be the best professional wrestling match of the night. But I do see a new champion being crowned in Tetsuya Naito. So that's who I think is going to pull it out. Tetsuya Naito, you're a new IWGP Heavyweight Champion, in my opinion. We will see on January 4th. So that's been my insight. Hopefully a little bit of a cheat sheet for you guys. I wanted to get you guys up to date with a lot of stuff, talking about guys possibly coming to the WWE, guys possibly, winning titles and doing this and that. Just I want to get you guys up to date. Like I said, give you a little bit of a cheat sheet, get you a little bit more in the know, so don't you know? That was a whole lot of no's, and I kept it rolling. I don't know why. See, there goes again, another one. Anyways, so like I said, I probably wasted more than enough of your time. Hopefully, I got you a little bit more up to date. It's just around the corner, guys. I want to say it's on next Wednesday. Just a heads up, if you do not already know, you can watch it live and then on demand. So it's going to be January 4th, so it'll be Wednesday night. Because I live in California, I live in San Diego, so I'll give you an idea of where I'm at. So that way, you guys have an idea of what it's going to be for you. At about midnight, about midnight our time, so San Diego midnight Pacific time, on Wednesday night, so aka Thursday morning at midnight, it's going to be the start of the show, and it'll probably run all the way till about 5, maybe even 6 o'clock. Just a heads up. So a lot of people, you can dedicate your life to watching that 6 hours. Go for it. I might possibly stick it out. I've already considered taking the day off, considering I don't think my flu is getting any better. But I am legit brothering through it at both of my jobs. I think Amir had said himself he works 2 jobs. He's in his master's. I'm one day going to go back to college, I assure you. But right now I'm focused on this and making money and being a good father. And I know he's a good father. I see him with his kids all the time on his videos, and it's awesome. So, just getting you guys up to date. Lastly, I want to plug a couple of things. I do want to plug WNXT. I just recently did an episode with Brian Green. We went over a very, very, very good NXT show, the last of the year. Had a very good match, a very, very good Fatal 4-Way with the pin coming out of nowhere. Some people are calling it a absolute perfect match, and I might actually agree. I don't think anything's perfect in the world of professional wrestling, but that was damn near. It was definitely an exciting match. I watched it 2 or 3 times already. If we had a competition for match of the year, that's already definitely thrown in the bag, but it's probably way too late. So it is what it is. So yeah, I think I went on the thing to let you guys know about the New Japan World. What I didn't tell you is it's actually relatively cheap. It's 999 yen, which in American is a little, I want to say just about $8, or just over $8. So there's that. You can watch it on demand the day after it shows. So once it's done airing at 6 or 7, I want to say by 8 o'clock, it'll be on demand, and you can watch it in its full. You can watch it in its entirety. Um, Now, for those who don't want the network, and I assure you, I want to push for you to get the network. Get it, try it out. Go back and watch some of the better matches. I put up a top 10 list of the New Japan matches of 2017. I didn't put a couple on there, guys like Shibata. I hope he continues to recover. Put on excellent matches against guys like Okada and stuff. I absolutely recommend you get the network. Go do your history. Watch some of these incredible matches because that's exactly what they are. They're all incredible. And there's a long list of them. I put on a top 10 match list. Phoenix Jericho, the man who helped me come up with the name of this show, put on a top 10 list. Check them out. You know what I mean? Give them a shot. You don't have to watch the full thing. Give it a month try. Hopefully it tickles your fancy, and then you can go on from there. Another way to watch it is Access TV is actually going to be rebroadcasting the big matches. I want to say 2 days after it airs, so the Friday night slot. I don't remember the time, and I do apologize for that. But they will be airing. I want to say every match minus maybe the gauntlet match for the 6-man tag title and probably the New Japan Rumble. But every other big match, like the Kenny Omega, Chris Jericho, Okada, and Naito, Jay White, all those matches are more than sure going to be on that special. So that's another way to watch it there. Also, I will be doing a review as quickly as totally possible on said thing, so hopefully give a listen to that. Some more plugs I want to keep doing because that's what I'm all about right now is check out our YouTube page. I know that we do post all of our videos right here on the page, on the RWT Facebook page, but we do have a podcast network that we're trying to build on YouTube. I want to say it's still the same name, RWT Wrestle Talk or Raw Talk. Wrestle Talk, Raw Talk. Don't quote me. When this video goes up, it'll take you to the page. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe. Give me a thumbs up if you think my video is good. Give me a thumbs down if you didn't like my review and my update. Tell me how you feel, guys. You know what I mean? We get better with your feedback, and I hope that you subscribe to the network. I hope you listen to all of us. It's not just me. I do 2 shows for the network. I do Smack Talk, where I review and recap that week's SmackDown Live. Like I was saying about Brian earlier, when NXT, I did an episode with him, and it was a great episode. But not only is that episode up there, but his 8 other episodes that are all great episodes are also on that network. We have Ring Psychology with our admin, Emir Black Bay Costello, and Micah Beza. And they go into mostly, I want to say, the pay-per-views. And they're very, very good. They do a great job. And then we also have our man, Daniel Crimmins, who I want to say has another podcast coming up, but I'm sure he's a busy man, just like the rest of us are. He has Hell in a Podcast. The first episode was great. Can't wait for the second episode. Again, we're all on this network. Give us a check. This episode's going to be on there. I have an episode on there where me, Mike, and Daniel go over the Clash of Champions reactions. We have a great time. Like I said, if you're interested in podcasts, we got a network going on for you. If you like what you listen to, leave us a comment. If for some reason you don't want to sit on YouTube all day and you want a direct download, let me know. Let one of us know. Leave it in the comments. Send us a message on Messenger, something like that, and we'll gladly post in the comments a link to the Google Drive account, and you can download it from there and listen to it as a music. Like that way, you don't have to worry about leaving it on YouTube, draining your phone battery, because that's what I do most of the time. Even though I do listen to my own shows, I also listen, like I said, I also listen to everybody else's shows. So I've been plugging plenty long. Like I said, guys, January 4th right around the corner. I hope you're all excited. I know I'm excited. The Royal Rumble's coming up too. Hopefully we get to see some big new names. There's been a video floating around of how last year's number 30 was, and we all remember how we all reacted to that one. Loud ovation of boos for Roman Reigns, and well-deserved boos for him. So, like I said, I've been on a tangent long enough. This has been Moses Marquez with the Major League Show. Thank you so much for listening, guys. Like I said, like, subscribe, give us a thumbs up, Any questions or comments, please leave them down below in either the YouTube page or the Facebook link, and I will get them answered on another show. If not, I'll just comment back. We're always here for you guys. We're always here to answer questions. Thanks so much, guys. Happy holidays. Hope you have a great New Year's. We'll catch you around the bend, boys and girls. That is my catchphrase, and I love it. Just like I love the New Japan product. Have a great one, guys.